My name is Wei Zhang, and I will be talking about why Home Depot sold HD Supply. There are three main reasons to explain why the Home Depot sold HD Supply. Firstly, Home Depot Supply's profit margins never reached the level of the retail side, and the cost savings never come as quickly as executives had hoped. The diversification into the supply business hurt Home Depot overall. Secondly, it is a key time to infuse cash into the company. They would use the proceeds to fund an aggressive share repurchase program, which was $22.5 billion. Finally, Natalie, the former CEO of Home Depot, invested heavily in HD Supply throughout his term. However, as his successor, Frank Blank has been eager to unload the unit and focus on the company's core business, it is retail stores. In 2007, the Home Depot company bought back its own shares at $37 per share, and in 2013, the stock price is trading at about $77 per share. Choice was the company paid in 2007. The whole transaction provided a 13% return annually. As a result, firstly, the transaction allows the company to focus on its retail business, where it is being challenged by Lorenz. Secondly, Mr. Natalie originally created the supply unit in 2000. The price when the company sold was higher than almost $8.5 billion that Home Depot had paid for the company to create the unit. Lastly, there is a very good return from the repurchase program.
My name is Cameron Arvey, and I will be giving a brief description of HD Supply and the private equity firms that participated in the consortium. HD Supply is the supply arm of Home Depot and is the second largest distributor of construction, industrial, and maintenance supplies in North America. Prior to the transaction, HD Supply was wholly owned by Home Depot. In 2006, revenue was recorded at over $12 billion, with Home Depot accounting for 40% of HD Supply's revenue. HD Supply had over 1,000 North American locations and 26,000 employees. HD Supply had a customer base of approximately 500,000 professionals. The areas of work the professionals participated in include infrastructure and energy, maintenance, repair, and improvement, and also specialty construction. Home Depot had spent the previous few years building up its wholesale unit, HD Supply. In early 2006, Home Depot purchased the $5 billion diversified distributor Hughes Supply for 12 times EBITDA. They also purchased National Waterworks for $1.35 billion in mid-2005. HD Supply made almost $4 billion worth of acquisitions in 2006. Adam Fain, president of Pembroke Consulting, said, "Home Depot has finally faced the inevitable truth. They could not run the collection of companies they acquired over the past 5 years." There are three private equity firms that participated in the consortium: Bain Capital, Clayton Dubilier & Rice, and the Carlyle Group. Bain Capital was founded in 1984 by partners of the consulting firm Bain & Company. They specialize in private equity, venture capital, and credit and public market investments. Bain has around $65 billion in assets under management and invests in a wide range of industries, with recent notable investments in Dunkin' Donuts, Staples, and Toys R Us. Clayton Dubilier & Rice is one of the oldest investment firms in the world and was founded in 1978. Nearly 60% of all transactions made by CD&R have involved corporate divestitures. CD&R's investments represent a wide range of industries and currently has ownership stakes in large companies such as the Hertz Corporation and U.S. Foods. Total transactional value is in excess of $80 billion. The Carlyle Group is an American-based global asset management firm that specializes in private equity. The private equity portion of the firm has been one of the most active LBO participants over the past decade. The Carlyle Group participates in 4 business areas: private equity, real assets, global market strategies, and fund of funds, with a total of $185 billion in assets under management.
My name is Alicia Craner, and I will be talking about the sources and uses of funds. A unique aspect of this transaction relates to the financing. Reuters reported that the HD Supply LBO was the first LBO transaction to not rely on the institutional loan market, instead receiving their funding exclusively from banks, not including the cash injection from the buyout firms. Originally, the three banks involved, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, and Lehman Brothers, had agreed to finance $4 billion of the LBO transaction, but as the pressure from the mortgage market crisis spread to creditors in other market segments, the banks feared not being able to resell the loans to investors. They reopened conversations with Home Depot and the buyout firms, trying to get more protection for their loans, hoping the protections would make the loans more attractive to future buyers. Negotiations forced Home Depot to drop the sale price to $8.5 billion, with the private equity firms injecting $2.3 billion of their own wealth and the banks financing. JP Morgan, Lehman, and Merrill Lynch issued a $1 billion covenant-light loan guaranteed by Home Depot, who would take over making the payments if HD Supply were to default. Covenant-light loans are used frequently in leveraged buyout transactions because they provide more flexibility to the borrowers. Another $1.3 billion of financing was provided by a PIK, or payment in kind loan, a risky loan type used in LBO transactions when the purchase price is greater than what usual lenders are willing to offer, or if there are no expected cash flows to repay the loan. The remainder of the financing, approximately $3.8 billion, was raised by the banks through issuing high-yield bonds backed by bridge loans, a type of high-risk, temporary funding tailored specifically for buyouts. The bridge loans were comprised of $2.5 billion in senior notes and $1.3 billion of subordinated. The proceeds from the sale, along with other funds, were used to help fund a $22.5 billion stock repurchase program. There were concerns that the repurchase program would have to be trimmed back when the purchase price of HD Supply was negotiated down from $10.3 billion, but Home Depot kept the program intact. Having no specific deadline for completion of the stock buyback offered Home Depot flexibility that they needed when negotiating the sale of HD Supply. Net cash proceeds from the sale totaled $7.9 billion, all of which was funneled directly into the stock repurchase program.
My name is Chen Hei Fok, and I will be talking about the ratios, multiples, and regulatory issues of the transaction. In the beginning, the investment group proposed a $10.3 billion buyout plan, with $1.9 billion of equity and $8.4 billion of debt from the banks. However, the group slashed the purchase price to $8.5 billion because of the housing and credit market's downturn. At the same time, the banks tightened up their credits and cut the debt-to-equity ratio by half, from 4.42 to 2.7. The private equity firms were required to increase the size of the equity check to about $2.3 billion. Under the new deal, the consortium first paid $8.5 billion to buy all the stakes in HD Supply at 30.8% premium. Excluding all transaction fees, we got an enterprise value of $8.3 billion. Using the EBITDA in 12 trailing months, we found that EV to EBITDA multiple is 9.07, which is close to the average of 8.87 times in its industry. Its debt to EBITDA multiple is 3, lower than the typical range. This strong earning power makes the company desirable. After the deal, Home Depot paid $325 million to retain 12.5% stakes in HD Supply, while the three private equity firms equally separate the rest of the stakes. The company used its cash proceeds from the sale, along with $5.7 billion of cash flow from operations, to repurchase 290 million shares at a price of $37 per share. The premium of the repurchase is 31.6% on average. One of the regulatory issues of this deal is stable financing, the almost routine practice nowadays to advise the seller while lending to the buyers. Andrew Tessier, senior banker of Lehman Brothers, had advised Home Depot on the sale at the same time that it was also providing financing to the buying group. When it comes to closing the deal, however, Lehman Brothers was reluctant to finance the transaction because of credit difficulties. To remove the conflict of interest, Goldman Sachs was brought in as an advisor to help mediate among the private equity firms and other banks to reach a deal. And saying, here's a list of citations